how to replace a grinder. First thing you're going to want to do is remove all the containers out of the machine. Now, this machine that we're working on has no beans in it. It's a brand new machine. Yours may have beans in it, so what you're going to want to do is first push in the slide to make sure that the shut off to the beans. This way, when you don't lift the container, or when you lift the container, you wind up not dropping all the beans out of this hole and spilling them everywhere. So, important step right there. Now we have access to the grinder. First thing you're going to want to do is remove the cover. If the machine's been out in the field for a while, there's a possibility that this cover won't be on the doser. So we'll go ahead and remove that. Once that's removed, you have access to the doser wires, which are the wires right here. This piece on the front is the doser. We're going to go ahead and remove the slide to the group. This way it'll make it easier for the doser to come out. So if you're just replacing the grinder, or if you have a grinder and doser combo that's built together, the procedure is basically the same, only slight difference. However, prior to doing any work, always take a photo of, the colors of the wires. The two blacks in this case are going to a black and red, and the two reds that we have on this side are going to a pink and a double yellow. Always take a picture. It'll just help you, put it back together once you guys are done. And the second thing we're going to want to do is remove the screws for the doser. In this case, I'm just removing the grinder itself, not the doser. So I'm just going to let the doser kind of hang off to the side here. If you were replacing the doser as well, you would unplug these 4 cables that go in through this slot right here. And essentially, the process is the same from here out. Next thing that we're going to want to do is remove the grinder. So the grinder's held in by 4 different screws all around here. It's an 8mm socket that we use to get it out. In this case, I'm using an electric drill. You might just have a socket wrench. Either way, process is going to be the same. Once you have those 4 screws out, I just leave them on the back. This way we don't lose them. There is a screw and a washer, as you can see. Just make sure you don't lose those as well. Once that's done, you'll see the grinder just lifts up and you're able to pull it out. If you look, there is a cable that goes into the back. You're going to see it's connected to 2 wires. You would just unplug those 2 wires. I'm not going to open up the back of this machine, but it's very simple. The 2 wires that connect here, you're just going to reconnect them to the new grinder. Obviously take a picture prior to disconnecting them. This way you don't lose them if you have to go back to the van or something. So once you have your new grinder, you're going to want to go ahead and set it right back in. Make sure that your doser wires are coming out of the assigned location. This way they don't get crimped or ripped or cut, anything like that. So then, same thing. We're just going to screw them in for now. we will secure the bolt back in. Then once you have your grinder back in, we're just doing a repeat of how we took it out. But the doser, at this point in time, if you did disconnect the doser, just match the wires accordingly. The 2 reds to the pink and the double yellow, and then the 2 blacks to the solid red and red and blue in this case. And it looks like we did lose the back of the doser, which fell right here. So on the back side of the doser, you're going to see there's this little partition, I guess we'll say, or separation that goes between the doser and the grinder. Once that is on, we'll go ahead and set that into place. Screw that in. That in. And we're just going to put our doser cover back on. And that is how to replace a grinder and or doser. Put that back in. Now, the next video that we're going to go into is how to adjust the grinder. So once you have your grinder in, you just want to make sure that it is adjustable. And just get the container back in there. And the way that we adjust a grinder is with 2 things. One is the doser knob, which is basically telling the machine how much coffee is going to fill this chamber and then drop into the brew chamber where it would then brew. The second thing that we're going to use is the adjustment shaft for the grinder. This is going to adjust the blade of the heights of the blades, rather, for how fine or how coarse the coffee is going to be. If you have a finer grind, the brew time is going to be longer. It's going to be a stronger coffee. Whereas if you have a more coarse grind, kind of like sand, it's going to be quicker brew time. Also going to lead to a little bit of a watery taste in the coffee. Really, it depends on where you are and how they want it set. Some people like strong coffee. Some people like, the coffee a little bit weaker. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Basically, you want to make sure that this knob is adjustable, or the shaft is adjustable. If you'll look on the shaft, there's going to be a small dot and a big dot. Both have arrows pointing the directions. So what that's going to allow you to see is the small dot, we're going to turn to the right. That's going to make the coffee finer, which is going to make stronger coffee. And if you spin it to the left, it's going to adjust the coffee to be more coarse and a weaker coffee. So if you get to a stop and you see that there is a brew time of roughly 20-30 seconds, you're going to want to turn to the left. We like our brew time set at right around 15 seconds. Anything between 14 and 17 is ideal. But some people like it at 21, 23. It really just depends on, preference and how they like their coffee. So just take that into account. So the way that we set this knob